On the dawn of December 1st, 1948, the gentle waves of Somerton Beach in Adelaide, South Australia, delivered more than just a tranquil morning. They presented one of the most profound and unsettling mysteries of the 20th century. A man was found dead, lying calmly on the sand, his head resting against the seawall, as if peacefully asleep. He was well dressed in a suit, tie, and polished shoes, but possessed no identification whatsoever. This was the beginning of the Tamam Shud Case, a story of an unknown man, a hidden note, a secret code, and a killer who left behind no trace but endless questions. The initial investigation into the Somerton man, as he quickly became known, was immediately fraught with perplexity. Despite a thorough search of his pockets and person, police found no wallet, no identification papers, and no clues as to who he was. All labels had been meticulously removed from his clothing. His teeth were examined by dentists across Australia, but no match was found. His fingerprints were taken and sent to police forces around the world, but again, nothing. It was as if this man had simply materialized on Somerton Beach, with no past, no identity, and no reason to exist. The initial autopsy revealed even more layers to the enigma. There were no obvious signs of violence or struggle. His body showed no visible cause of death, no poisoning, no wounds, no internal bleeding that could be readily identified by 1948 forensic science. Yet, doctors noted some peculiar details: blood congestion in his brain and stomach, and internal organs that seemed to suggest a powerful, fast-acting poison that would have left no trace. But what poison? And how was it administered? The lack of clear answers only deepened the puzzle. As police continued their meticulous search, they stumbled upon the first truly cryptic clue. Sewn into a small, hidden felt pocket within the man's trousers, they discovered a tiny, rolled-up piece of paper. It bore only 2 words, printed in an exotic, elegant script: Tamam Shud. This phrase, meaning finished or ended in Persian, was quickly identified as the final words from a rare collection of poems, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. It was a poetic, yet chilling epitaph. The discovery of the note immediately launched a massive public appeal. Police and media widely disseminated information about the Tamam Shud phrase, hoping someone would recognize it and lead them to the book from which it was torn. Months passed with no luck. Then, in July 1949, a local man came forward. He had found a rare first edition copy of Edward Fitzgerald's Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam in his unlocked car shortly after the body's discovery. The book was missing its final page. A forensic comparison confirmed it. The tiny piece of paper found in the Somerton man's pocket was a perfect match for the missing page in this very specific book. The killer, it seemed, had left a fragment of a book behind, but the book held another secret. Inside the back cover, handwritten in faint pencil, were 5 lines of seemingly random letters, a coded message. It appeared to be a cipher, 5 lines of jumbled text, perhaps a key, a message, or even a confession. Codebreakers, intelligence agencies, and amateur enthusiasts around the world have attempted to decipher it, but to this day, the code remains unbroken, its meaning locked away, adding another impenetrable layer to the mystery. The investigation then turned to the book itself. The man who owned it, Professor Cleland, was the only person known to have acquired such a rare edition, but he claimed he had simply found it in his car. Further examination of the book revealed a mysterious phone number written faintly on its back page. The number belonged to a local nurse named Jessica Thomson, and though her identity was protected at the time, later revealed to be Justin. She lived a mere few hundred yards from Somerton Beach. When questioned, Jessica Thomson's reaction was peculiar. She was clearly distressed and reportedly almost fainted when shown a plaster bust of the Somerton man's head. She claimed to have no knowledge of the man. She admitted to owning a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, and had given it years prior to a man named Alfred Boxall, who had been a former colleague of hers during the war. Investigators tracked down Alfred Boxall. He was found alive and well, still possessing his copy of the Rubaiyat with its final page intact. This seemingly ruled out a direct connection. However, many investigators remained suspicious of Jessica Thomson, noting her evasiveness and her unusual reaction. Some speculated that she might have known the man, perhaps as a former lover, and that the circumstances were too coincidental. It was later revealed that Jessica had a son named Robin, whose physical features, particularly his ears and teeth, bore a striking resemblance to those of the Somerton man. Was this a tragic love story ending in murder, or something far more complex? The absence of identification and the bizarre clues quickly led to a multitude of theories. Was the Somerton man a spy? This became the most popular theory, given the cryptic code, the meticulous removal of identifying labels, the hidden pocket, and the presumed undetectable poison. It seemed like a classic Cold War espionage plot gone wrong, with the Rubaiyat serving as a dead drop codebook. Was he silenced after completing his mission, or was he betrayed? Another theory suggested a lover's pact or a suicide. Perhaps the Tamam Shud was a poetic farewell, and Jessica Thomson's distress indicated a shared, tragic secret. But why would the body be so meticulously staged, and why the hidden note? If it was suicide, why no obvious poison detected, and why was the book missing its last page, rather than just being left open to it? Other less prominent theories included an accidental death or an unusual medical event, though the lack of a definitive natural cause remained a significant hurdle. There was even speculation that he was a victim of a crime that occurred elsewhere, and his body was simply dumped on the beach. However, the unusual poisoning and deliberate staging still suggested a more complex scenario. For decades, the case remained utterly cold. The Somerton man was buried in an Adelaide cemetery, his tombstone simply reading "The Unknown Man." His identity, motives, and the manner of his death were shrouded in an impenetrable veil of mystery. However, the fascination with the case never waned. Generations of detectives, historians, geneticists, and amateur sleuths continued to pore over the limited evidence, hoping for a breakthrough. Finally, in May 2021, a significant step was taken. After years of tireless advocacy by Professor Derek Abbott, who had extensively researched the case and even married Jessica Thomson's granddaughter, the Somerton man's body was exhumed from its grave. This exhumation provided hope for the application of modern forensic techniques, specifically advanced DNA analysis to finally identify the man and perhaps unravel the truth of his death. And indeed, in July 2022, Professor Abbott announced a major breakthrough. Using DNA from hairs found on the body, he had identified the Somerton man as Carl Webb, a 43-year-old electrical engineer from Melbourne. Webb was a single man who had a passion for poetry and a history of marital separation. Further research revealed Webb's connections to people in Melbourne and his likely motivation for being in Adelaide. This identification, if officially confirmed by authorities, would be a monumental step in solving the mystery. It has opened up new avenues for investigation into his life, his connections, and what truly led him to Somerton Beach. The Tamam Shud Case stands as one of the world's most enduring and profoundly perplexing mysteries. For over 75 years, the man on Somerton Beach was a ghost, a symbol of the unknown. While new DNA evidence offers the strongest lead yet to his identity as Carl Webb, the ultimate questions of how he died and who was responsible for his bizarre final moments remain. The Rubaiyat, the code, the hidden pocket, and the elusive poison continue to weave a tapestry of intrigue, reminding us that some truths, even after decades, are incredibly hard to uncover. The sands of Somerton Beach still guard their secrets, but perhaps, after all this time, the true story of the Tamam Shud man is finally beginning to be told.